Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Ultima2 and today we are going to be taking a look at the S.H. MonsterArts Godzilla 2019 from Godzilla King of the Monsters. This is actually my first S.H. MonsterArts figure and I am really happy with this purchase. I think the movie was amazing. I've seen it twice. I watched it on IMAXX. Totally blew my mind. I think Michael Dougherty just really gave that movie all the justice it needed as one of the best kaiju films of all time. My opinion anyway. So there's been a lot of hype over this figure, and I think many people have been very happy about it. So I'm just going to take a quick look at the box before we go into this gorgeous figure. So starting with the box, we've probably seen this 1,000 times, but yeah, you get your Godzilla with all the licensing logos on the front, see-through front packaging, see-through rooftop, S.H. MonsterArts Godzilla, Godzilla, Monsterverse, Godzilla 2019, product pack shots. This is actually a direct Japanese version, which is why you do not see the import sticker that's usually stuck here. But the figure's the same anyway. And you have Godzilla in that whole form where it's about to light up the sky. And there we have it. So, going now into the figure, I think the sculpt, first of all, is amazing. And yes, the most important topic, how could we not go into it, is the face. The face, oh god, I think the face is amazing. Would you look at that? Look at that mug. The way it has that really angry Deadshot sort of look when you look at it in front compared to the googly eye one, which I have from Neca, and I will do a comparison after this. On the side, you have his eyes, which are really small, but done still in really good detail. And you have his mouth paint. I don't have any paint bleeding across into the teeth. The jaws, the gum, the tongue, it's all painted in a very dark red, and I am okay with it. And on the side, yep, really nice, really good. I think, in my opinion, probably the most accurate one by far of the 2019 movie. And of course, looking throughout the body, you see this amazing texture of scales and ridges that have been really brought out by the sculptor who was assigned to do this. And of course, you have his great dorsal fins, which are in very pretty sharp actually and pretty hard. And for this, it may look sort of monotonous in terms of color, but then again, if you go back to watch the movie a few times, he was rather monotonous in color. But I cannot say that there is no color, because there's actually different forms of shading from dark to light to dark, which the camera and the lighting is probably not really able to capture here. I think you can see some of it actually. Yeah. And of course, the arms come with limited ball joint swivels, so does the elbows and the wrists. The neck can go this high up, the mouth can close, where he can do that super blast the sky thing, which we will test out later. And of course, he has a ball joint at the upper torso, the abdomen, and of course leg joints, which can open up into this sort of power sumo pose. And yeah, knees are also on the ball joints. There is a bit of ankle pivot. You can get him into really all sorts of poses, be it really down, or is he standing really up at attention. I just really love the articulation of this. This is actually my first S.H.M.A figure. I'm not sure if I said that earlier. So I am really happy with it. And of course, the tail comes with really a ton of ball joints. The ball joints seem to pop off at certain times if you use too much force, but I seem to hear that this is a very common thing with all S.H.M.A figures. My only peeve with this is that the tail part is sort of loose, but it doesn't fall off, just that it is kind of shaky at times. But really good sculpt and texturing all in all. you can get him into like a ton of really cool poses. It depends how you want to take pictures for your diorama. There is that gap edge thing, but I think it's a necessary evil. Without it, I think it would have been really, really hard to pose our Godzilla. But you can get him into certain angles where you don't see it at all. You won't even notice it, you know? Alright, and now let's take a bit into the look of the effects parts which we came with. This piece, which you are going to switch out with this guy's mouth. So we are just going to rip out his mouth right now. It's not too hard. Just remember not to use too much force because you may damage it. I'm not sure, but mine seems okay. So you see there is a hole at the top where you are just going to peg this ball joint back in. The difficulty of this is that you do not really know when it's in, but I guess, yeah, it's in. And yes, so now you can attach your ray blaster thing, and yeah, now you have Godzilla lighting up the sky. Very nice, very nice. That also you can do things like how he's about to blast the shit out of the city or Ghidorah. I have that coming on along the way. I can't wait to do a review of that, of him, and take some pictures against this guy. But I am really happy. And I heard that this sort of is just a same mold as the 2014 version, but apparently this is like given a little nicer wash of, I think, silver, which gives it that really flary effect where you saw where he really shoots and blasts the shit out of those Mythos and Ghidorah. So I think it's really neat. It's good that we have this sort of mini accessory. I was kind of disappointed I didn't get one with my NECA. But yeah, it's a really cool, fun figure, as you can see. I don't recommend, though, leaving it like that. It will get loose in time. One way is definitely, there is a small little peg hole you can see over here, which you can just slot in a Tamashi stand, and that way you will not have your figure losing that its neck grip over time, and it still doesn't break the sculpt. It still looks great. So now let's go a bit into comparisons. I'm going to bring up the NECA. I'm going to just switch back his mouth, and there we have it. On the left you have the S.H.M.A MonsterArts Godzilla 2019, and on the right you have the NECA Godzilla 2019. And first of all, let's talk about paint. The NECA comes with a much more easy to see sort of paint wash, which is like just completely blanched in that lightish gray sort of thing, giving him a much lighter tone compared to the Godzilla. However, if we talk about in terms of movie accuracy, I definitely think this is by far more accurate. But the NECA, I guess they took a different route to it, and there is nothing wrong. So it depends on what you really like. Now, number two, let's talk a bit about the sculpt. All in all, I think the sculpt, there is really little difference in both. The fact, except that this is probably done in much detail and much better, because they really got a professional sculptor to add on to the 3D rendering. While both of them did have the 3D sort of files to design this. However, once we get to the face, we become kind of clear on who is the absolute winner of this. S.H.M.A definitely just blew it completely out of the park. NECA, as we all know, is having a big issue with the whole googly eyes thing. Mine, both eyeballs do at least look to the front, but it does look kind of gooky. The teeth are not done right. There's just this weird face. It just doesn't look Godzilla. It looks like it's like a fish in some sense. I think that's what I have been hearing people say. Yeah, you do get sufficient articulation, which I'm glad they improved versus their 14, and they also have a very good ball joint tail, which can do quite a decent amount of bend. That is actually pretty good. Now, the toenails are painted as well. But then again, all in all, this is a much lighter shade, while this is really much darker. However, if we are really going to be talking about price, Now this one is really what you should get if you really are on a budget or you just don't want to break the bank. You can get this in Malaysian ringgit. It's about like 120, 130, whereas this costs somewhere between 280 to 350, depending on your importer or supplier. However, if you are really going for the accurate sculpt towards the movie, I highly recommend this. If you can and are willing to put out the budget, by all means go with the S.H.M.A MonsterArts figure. But there is no harm that if you want to keep a budget, I strongly recommend this as well. There are just different ways to enjoy toys, and although the articulation is just much limited to this, we must remember that there is definitely a big difference in price between two figures. But NECA has stepped up the job as well, I can say. Compared to that terrible wire tail we had in 2014, this is really pretty good. And the best part is that NECA seems to have a much more sturdier build. It doesn't just pop off here and there like the S.H.M.A, which is a point. I'm gonna say that if you have a really younger child or a kid who is not really able to handle his toys, I strongly recommend this, because you can throw this guy around, you can even smack somebody on the head, and I think it'd be fine. This is still good quality, but it probably is more for the loving rather than tough love. Yeah. So all in all, there is not exactly a better one. It really depends on just your budget. I'm really happy with both, but I am most likely going to be selling off my NECA, just because I don't need two Godzillas, and I am just really happy with this. But like I said, it depends, up to you guys. So let me know what you guys think, which Godzilla you think is better, which you think seems to represent the movie much better. Do you think I'm wrong? Let me know in the comments below, and subscribe if you love this channel. Thanks a lot guys, and goodbye.